Today's lesson is 2.6, least common multiple. Our objectives are to identify factors of numbers and to find the least common multiple of numbers. Let's first define multiple. It's a number you say when you count by a number or you skip counting. For example, if I wanted to find the multiples of 5, I would just count up by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. All those numbers I named are multiples of 5. So let's just quickly practice finding the multiples of 7 by using a count list or a skip list, and then I'll show you what we mean by multiply up the line. So if I count by 7, I start with 7. 7 more is 14, 7 more is 21, 7 more is 28. And this list would continue. Now, when we say multiply up the line, if we look at this, 7 is 7 times 1, 14 is 7 times 2, 21 is 7 times 3, 28 is 7 times 4. So I could use multiplication to find multiples as well. If I wanted to find the next multiple, I could do 7 times 5, and then 7 times 6, and 7 times 7, and so on. So the least common multiple, because multiples go on forever to infinity, instead of finding the greatest multiple, because that doesn't exist, we find the least common multiple. It's the smallest number. That's a multiple of 2 or more numbers. So why would I need to know how to find the LCM? The LCM is used to find common denominators of fractions when we're adding or subtracting them. So this LCM is going to lay the groundwork for a skill we're going to do in the next unit. Thankfully, we can still use our ladder method that we learned for greatest common factor. By adding on just one step, we can find the least common multiple. The first thing we do is follow the steps for finding GCF. We write the numbers and draw an L. We find the common factor and write it to the left. We divide by the common factor and place answers underneath, and we repeat steps 2 and 3 until the only common factor is 1. Then, instead of drawing that G like we did for greatest common factor, we draw an L around the common factors on the left and the numbers on the bottom row, and then we multiply. So let's do 2 problems together. First thing I need to do is follow the steps for finding the GCF. I write the numbers and draw an L. The numbers are already written for me, and they're already written in your notebook as well, so I just need to draw the L. Find a common factor and write it to the left. Well, I can divide both 28 and 40 by 2. Divide by a common factor and place answers underneath. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 40 divided by 2 is 20. I repeat these steps until the only common factor is 1. So I think, what's a number I can divide both 14 and 20 by? Well, I can divide them both by 2 again. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Now, the only number I can divide 7 and 10 by is 1. So now, I'm on step 2. I'm going to draw a big L. L for LCM. Around the numbers on the left and the bottom row. And then I multiply all those numbers in the L together. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 1 is 4, times 7 is 28, times 10 is 280. So the first multiple that would be on the list for both 28 and 40 is 280. Imagine if we did a count list like 40, 80, 120. We'd have to go quite a ways to get to 280. If we were counting by 28, we'd have to go quite a far way to get to 280. So this ladder method is a more efficient method. Let's try a second one. We have 18 and 32. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the L. and I think, what's a number I can divide both 18 and 32 by? Well, they're both even, so they can be divided by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 32 divided by 2 is 16. And now I'm down to the 1. Only 1 will divide both 9 and 16. So now I have to draw my big L so I can remember all the numbers I need to multiply together. So I have 2 times 1 times 9 times 16. 2 times 1 is 2, times 9 is 18, times 16. And you can either use your calculator or you can do it longhand. And we get 288 is our LCM. Imagine having to count up by 18s until you got to 288, or counting up by 32 till you got to 288. Again, this latter method is a more effective method. Here are 3 problems for you to try in your notebook. Press pause while you're doing the work and press play when you're ready to check your answers. So today we learned how to use the ladder method to find least common multiples, which allowed us to identify factors and find the least common multiple.